Thank you. I am, okay. What I've done was, excuse me? Excuse me? What have I said to do? What have I done to disinterest you? You've got a phone call?
Yes.
Right, come on then. Right, so you've all got your feedback. I spent hours and hours ensuring that your feedback was in the right place. People did email me and hopefully they now got it. Okay? If you haven't, you can see me after the session because it does mean a bit of tweaking and clicking. The other thing I have yet to put up The other thing I've yet to put up are your videos. They're all there. They are unedited. I haven't got the time to edit them. But I've just got to put them in the right place in your seminar area. If there is anybody who has got an hour or so that can come and help me with that, you will get them up quicker. Anybody's willing to help, then come and see me after the session and I'll ask you maybe this afternoon or the next few days. But it is quite all these things take time to do. But good to look at, and I would like to get that before you finish your reflective account, because if you have the courage to look at your videos behind, even if it's behind closed fingers, yeah, or behind the settee, if you have the courage to watch yourself on video, it really is just give you a good idea of how you and your people perform. Yeah, and it's only yours that you'll see, nobody else's. Okay, if you come this side, then go over with it. Start jumping. Actually, that's very interesting. That's really interesting. One of the things I'm going to be looking at is education and training. There was a report that came out yesterday. Do you know which report came out? I've got it. Right, lecturer. There's a report that came out, it looked at the experience of children in I think about 19 countries or whatever, rich countries. What was it? Come on, please. There's plenty of spaces in the middle there. If you want to get in the middle or sit in the front. If you heard it, it was on the 10 o'clock news last night, it was being discussed on Radio 4 News this morning. Can anybody tell me anything about it?
The UK is low in thinking in education levels rather than other countries.
Thank you. That the number of 15 to 19-year-olds going into further education is the lowest of the, I think it's about 19 countries. Reflect on that, because we're going to talk about it a bit later. But I thought it was very current, if only I could remember the...
It's in the Matrix today as well.
Can somebody Google, please? Somebody Google and let me know. Please, somebody? You've all got laptops or something like you've all got laptops, you've all got smartphones or something. Rather than sort of sitting there twiddling your fingers. Are you with me or without me? You're with me. Right, if anyone can find out that, then I'll be very grateful. It was a survey on experience of children on it came out yesterday. Okay, right. So videos are going to be coming out for you soon. Oh, the other thing that's up on UEL Plus, I think now, have you noticed, are the videos of the lectures? Have you seen those? Yes, you have. Were they okay to see? Could you view them okay? Yeah? The lectures? Good. Okay, I don't know because I haven't looked at them because I don't want to see them. I don't want to see myself. Good, so all the lectures hopefully are there and we'll continue to look at the video as you can see today. Right, the next thing I want to mention then is this. That one goes on. Is the Human Resource Development Conference and Exhibition. Okay, now I did say at the beginning of the semester, I did ask you, would you be interested in going? And I think most of you said yes. Okay, now it is in 2 weeks' time, that's week 10. So with your approval, and I hope this is okay, I'm going to cancel lecture and seminar, and workshop or whatever we do. Okay, I'm going to cancel all formal teaching that day, and I've booked 2 coaches to take the group into London. That was going to be my next one.
Okay.
I've only booked 2 because I'm assuming that many of you live, other sides of London that can make it there yourselves. So what I will want to do next week is get some kind of idea about who will be coming on the bus and who will be there, and we can make arrangements to meet up and so on. Okay, is that okay? I would expect the bus to leave here at 9. So if you come in to click at 14 minutes past 9, you may well have missed the coach. And therefore you will be absent. Okay? And I know what it's like, excuse me, to catch a bus on time. Right, but I'm always optimistic. So the bus will be here about 9 and will leave about 9 because it will take about an hour to get there. After if we all go together, it's nice and safe. Okay? And then we'll know where to go. It's Olympia in Kensington. I would expect you would want to be there for, if we got there about 10, a couple of hours. Yeah? There's lots to see. Lots to see. And one of the things I wanted to do today was to get a student who has been to the exhibition. She came last year with me. A few came last year. I didn't do it on the lecture day, which is why I was only a few, so hopefully I can get many more people. There are lots and lots of them. If you've been to a trade exhibition before, you know what it's like. Lots and lots of stands with people selling their products. And of course, for this, the products are all training and development products. So that will be fairly unique for you, I would have thought. The other thing that you'll get, and I'll photocopy this and put this up into UEL class, but there are 3 sessions. There are about 10 throughout the day. But they are free workshops, and there's one on topic tasters, there's one in the learning arena, and there's one on technology for learning. So, for example, there's one, the power of 50-minute training. Or you might have found that quite useful. 50-minute training. I know you only had half that time, but nevertheless, the power of 50-minute training, short burst of training. The means of learning metrics is Zero Way Out. E-learning on iPads, getting it right. Why you're learning and so on. So there's a whole number of sessions there that you can just go to. They're free, okay? As well as talking to all the sound, people on the sound. Who wants to go into human resource management or human resource development as a career? Okay. I would hope that you've all got business cards. Those of us who sat in the networking session from my seminar group know the importance of having a business card. If you're going to go to this, take your business card, because one of the things that you can do is give these out, and they also have lots of big jars where you put your card in and you can win competitions and all sorts. Okay, but just for a lollipop, you have a business card. But anyway, there's lots of sessions which you can go to. Now, I think I would probably be there most of the day because I know people and I meet up with people every year, so I really enjoy it. In fact, I'm going again on Thursday with some distance learning students. But my quandary was, do I have coaches to bring you back, or do I just say make your own way back? If you make your own way back, then you can just go when you want, or stay as long as you want. But it's up to you. What do you think? How much? What? Yes. back to on public transport. Public transport is the Olympian to Earls Court, and then from Earls Court to wherever you live. Would it be best to have that flexibility? You can just go when you want. I think I'm getting that. But if you have any strong feelings, let me know. Okay. So that's not next week, but the week after. Now, all the people who are not... See what time it is? Fantastic. All those people who are not here, can you let them know about this? One thing I need you to do is you need to register. Okay, so if you go here, and this is really important, folks, so I will be checking next week. If you go here, pre-register, just put in your... Hello? Hello? Well, they can't get into this. If you pre-register, that means as soon as you get off the stage, you can go straight into the exhibition. If you don't pre-register and get your badge, you then have to sign up and sign in then and there. Okay, so get your badge before you go. Just saves a lot of time. Does there anybody any questions about that? Yeah? Anybody, any questions? The link is up in New York Bus, but if you just go to CIPD and then you know, just leave it CIPD home. So I've just gone to their page. If you go to CIPD home, and even if you're interested, you know, if you're doing economics or business management or whatever, I still think going to a trade exhibition is interesting. Looking at the companies, looking at how they market themselves, look at what the demands, employer demands are, and so on. You can look at it from a whole range of options. All right. Okay. So that's what I would like you to do, is register. So that's your homework, registering for the exhibition. Let me know if you have any worries or concerns or any apathy about it now. Everybody in accordance with it? Everybody agreement? You know when they say it's good to get feedback? Are you okay about it?
So the exhibition starts and finishes at?
The exhibition starts at 10, 9:30, I think, 9:30, and finishes at 5. But of course, there's no reason for you to stay that long at all. Okay. All I'm saying, I would imagine a couple of hours would be enough. Yeah.
People travelling by themselves, can they just enter when they're there?
Yes, but I would like next week. I will have a regular just check who's going to come in and whatever, because obviously I need to check who's coming. So at some point we'll have to wait up, or we'll have somebody in the place. We'll be in the beginning entrance area. But it is worthwhile, and Antoinette, who's a level 3 student, is going to come and talk to you about it next week. Secondly, talking of Antoinette, I don't know whether you've heard, but at the end of the year last year, we did have a social for the BA and HRM students. Sorry, it's not everybody. If anybody from the BA and HRM would be interested in working with Antoinette on planning a new one.
Yeah, she told me.
She told me. She's asking us to volunteer for that. Okay, right. Have we all woken up yet? I did put some music on and the machine's eating my CD.
Talk about the coursework now.
Please. My wish is your command. Okay. The reflective account. How many people have started it? Some people haven't. My concern about you not starting it, to those who haven't started it, did you at least make notes after the occasion? Because one of the things, you know, you've got to get down is how you were thinking at the time, or even before. what you were feeling before and how it felt afterwards, because that's reflection. Okay, good. So but most of you have started. Right, so the coursework 2 is you write an account on what you have learned from undertaking the training event and also to evaluate your own performance, okay? This should discuss, and there are 4 areas, okay? So one is the reasons why you chose the training methods that you chose. Now you didn't choose those off the top of your head, folks. You chose them because in previous lectures I have talked about the way that people learn and the ways, the different methods that enable or support or facilitate people to learn effectively, right? You didn't just choose things like that. So again, whenever you're talking about this, always refer back to the theory. Always refer back to what Wilson says about using methods, or anything else, or CIPD says about learning methods, or any other book writer on learning and development. Okay, so why you chose the methods and resources, and what was good about these methods, what works really, really well, and then what went wrong. Yeah? What went wrong, yeah, and why. Okay, so really think about this. Okay, so you also need to think about the way you sought and analysed learner feedback. Now, you obviously used the evaluation questionnaire. Most of you, I think, used the evaluation questionnaire. Okay, so having got those, did you immediately, as a group, get together and look at what people said? Yeah? And what marks they gave you and so on? And likewise, when you got the feedback from us, when you got these sheets, did you look at the marks, both what the tutors gave you, which are the top ones, and also the comments, both tutors and students? I have to say, this is my seminar group. My seminar group, mostly because I nagged them, did quite a lot of student comments, which was really helpful. Some other seminars were not quite so good at giving so many comments to the students, but anyway, this was a good one. So look at that, and how did you analyse them, and what conclusions did you come out from the actual evidence, which is what, people's comments, people's marks that they gave you. It's 1:30. What's your name? We need to have a chat about it. Okay, just employability skill. What would you do the same, and what would you do differently if I asked you to do a session next week? Or indeed, if your employer said, you did a session on networking, did you? Wouldn't mind doing it for a group of till workers, would you? Yeah? So, there you go. So what would you do differently and why? Again, the why is really important because the why always refers back to theory. So, and then finally, and this is where we as a university are always trying to get you to do, folks, is to apply your learning to the real world, i.e. the work. So, how would you apply what you have learned from that experience to your situation in the workplace? Now, I think everybody in some form helps or trains or helps learn or helps teach their colleagues in some form or other, whether that's voluntary work that you do or not. So how would you do that? So again, career management last semester made you think about the careers you were thinking about going into. So you have some ideas, if not a clear idea, but you should be able to think about that. Okay, so that's what it is. It's 25% of the module mark. This reflective account is important because, obviously, it's a compulsory element of the assignment module mark. But it uses a skill of reflection, which, according to professional institutes, some of you will be CIPD members, some of you will be ACCA institute members, other, the Institute of Marketing, whatever. But all these institutes are looking for their members to be reflective, to think about what they're doing and why and how they can improve forever, constantly. Okay? So this is to prove your skill in doing that. And if you want to go into the CIPD, for those of you who you do. It is a requirement that you do that regularly. Okay, so why should you reflect? Why should you reflect? Okay. It does help you to put theory to practice. And if you're going to think, if you're spending so much time sitting here, it's got to be of use to you, hasn't it? It's got to be, otherwise, why? So it's about putting theory to practice. How can you make use of all this stuff? And that makes you think, it makes you articulate it. It integrates new knowledge with previous knowledge. So you can think, yes, what I did here actually builds on something we're doing that I did last year, or something that we're doing in another module or whatever, and then what we're doing in the future. So it sort of integrates all your learning. Really, really, really important is it helps you to learn from your mistakes. Otherwise you'll keep making them. Is anyone brave enough to say what one mistake that they made that they learned from the training session? One mistake they learned from. Yes? So you need smaller cards?
Yes.
Or information on...
So what, for example, is clear that the slide up, but also the note that we're reflecting on,
that you're talking about?
was quite large.
Right.
So I think a lot of our colleagues thought we spent a lot of time looking at our notes.
Oh, I think that's in terms of your presentation?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you learned something about your presentation? Okay. Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Anybody else willing to discuss something that they learned from their mistakes? Oh, come on, don't be shy.
Be on time.
Be on time.
Yeah. There was a problem with printing and we ended up missing the first presentation.
Wow.
And that could have potentially ruined everything.
Lost you the job. If you're getting paid £1,000 a day for putting on training for a client, the last thing you want is for you to turn up late. You get the stuff. If you're doing something for a client, you end up going there at least an hour beforehand, and you make sure that everything's prepared the day before. So, yeah, you've learned something from that mistake. Fantastic. One more. Because none of you got 100%, so you must have all made mistakes. We've had ladies talk about their mistakes. Any men made any mistakes? Or is that not possible? Any men made any mistakes?
Yes.
Who? Who was that? Who? Go on.
Mismanagement.
Go on.
Our group wasn't managed properly.
Who was managing it?
I was not managing them, but it was very much not in control of the situation. We had a game, so that game went out of control. So
That game?
that was an activity.
Yes.
So it was out of control because everyone was shouting and they were behaving much like kids.
So what you're saying is that you realise that when you're doing an activity which doesn't require a lot of participation, a lot of movement, a lot of talk, etc., you really do need to control it.
Yeah.
Not to squash it, but to be able to control it so it's productive and useful rather than chaotic.
Yeah.
Good. Any other lad? Young man. Now let's see if we can get the men to say some mistakes. Oh, we can be sexy about this, but... No.
We had a comment of girls saying Joe was a more confident than boys.
Okay, but that's not your mistake, is it? Okay, and what did you learn from that? So it's learned that your girls are confident, that's great. Good. As an employability for skills for young men, then we need to develop their confidence. Okay, good. So, so reflecting is useful. So you learn from mistakes, and identifying successful aspects of an experienced principle will be useful to apply. Okay, so that's really good. The good things are good to work on, build on. The bad things you learn from and do different things next time. Okay, so do consider things, the key things to do reflect on the key things to consider when choosing methods. Do think about how and why you chose your methods, how you assessed the trainees' learning. A lot of people used quizzes. When you were going around while people were doing activities, no doubt you were making judgments on how well they were doing it, and if needs be, you were saying, well, have you tried it doing that way, or have you thought about doing it this way, or that sort of thing. So you were, whether you thought you or not, you were correcting them, okay, and sort of therefore helping them learn. And give examples, real examples of how you change the session, give real examples of how you methods that worked well, and maybe a specific example of training that you might use or deliver at work. And that might just be showing somebody how to use an Excel or whatever, but it is still nevertheless a piece of training. Don't describe what happened. We were there, and if need be, we can watch your video. All 35. You probably won't, so don't describe what happened. You might want to discuss a little bit about how you worked as teams. Team training is difficult, and you managed it very well. It's not usual for people to train in groups of 4 or 5. 5 can be a bit too much. 4, even 4 is quite a lot. But if what happened there? Was it successful? If it wasn't successful, why not? There are 4 sections, and there are 40% of the mark goes to those 4 sections, and inevitably each year somebody does not answer one of those questions, one of those topics, address one of those areas. So make sure you address all 4. Don't reflect without referring to theory. I keep saying this, don't I? And then please proofread your work before you submit it. Read it out loud to yourself, listen to the grammar, and look at your spelling. Use a spell checker. Yeah? Your level 2 students now, your level of grammar, spelling, sentence structure, etc. should all be first class by now. First class. So, how should you present a word process? If it helps, use those topic headings as subheadings. Fine, that's fine. If it helps you structure, that's fine. It's not an essay. It doesn't need an introduction and conclusion. It's not an essay. It's a reflective account. Yeah. So I've just been asked a question about which of the 4 sections. Those are the 4 sections. Yeah? Sorry, should I not make that clear? Those are the 4 topics. Does that make that clear? Yeah?
And obviously you said you've got on there that use subheadings.
Yeah, those.
Huh?
Those.
These are your subheadings.
Yes. No, the reasons why you chose the methods and resources for your learning event and development and the relative merits of these is use that as a subheading.
I've already done, that's not, I've never been asked to do that before.
Have you been asked to do a reflective
Yeah, of
account?
course, on my first year I've done loads.
Okay. If it's not helpful,
Oh, because I've already done my, but I haven't put any of those. It's all in there.
one of the questions I inevitably get asked my students is, can we use subheading? So by preempting that question, you can use subheadings. If you're going to use subheadings, use these as they are. Do not make them up or reword them. Use them as they are. You don't need to include them in your word count. Okay? Just put them there, and it helps you to structure. You do not need an introduction and conclusion. It is not an essay. It is not an essay. You do not need an introduction and conclusion. Just go straight in. I just want to know what you learned. Okay.
Are they the same as on your
Say it again.
Are they the same as you learned on your mark? Because I already read similar.
Well, they're the same or not. UEL Plus, the assignment guide, okay, which more or less says just what I just said, but it's there in writing if you want to download it, print it off. Okay, have I done anything? Yeah, that's it. Okay. Right. Just turn to your next door neighbour. Are there any things or any questions that you have before I ask you as a group? Turn to your neighbour and tell them what you have, what you think about the assignment, what difficulties you're going to have, or why it's very easy. Talk to your neighbour. This is called student engagement. Talk to your neighbour about your reflective account, what I've just said, and if there are any questions that both of you have that you would like to answer, okay? So talk to your neighbour. Do you want to come to here and talk to him? It's not a report. If I wanted to do a report, I would say, write a report. I didn't. I said, write a report. I've just given you a sketch. No introduction. As far as I know at the moment, it's in the second week. Your minimum is 1,000. Yeah, so one of the things I've just been asked, the number of words is 1,000 words. What's 1,000 words? Yeah. Right, good question. This is not an academic piece of work. This is a piece of work about you. So of course you can use I and we. Of course you can. But then there will be academic bits where you refer to theory, where you revert back to academic speak. But mostly it's about you. So I will not penalise you for using I, because it's about you. Good question. Right, any other questions? Good question. Do you need a front sheet? I put one up, but I'm probably by the time you've done it, I probably will put. You know, Turnitin has all the grades and the marks and stuff. I probably will use that. So if you see the front sheet in UEL Plus, then use it. If you don't see it, then don't. I'll put a message that straight up into UEL. But there is no need. If you put all the comments within the reflective account, can you make sure that your work is at least 1.5 or double spaced? Because if we want to write in it, then we have to use a little text box. And if you use single spacing, then you can't read what we've written. So use 1.5 double spacing, and then any comments you will put in. Not using the bubbles. I find the bubbles a pain, don't you? To open up. So I use just text boxes so you can see any comments. Good question. Yeah. In the assignment guide, there's using the summer, but as long as actually one of the main activity in the seminar is looking at 3 examples of reflective accounts. Okay, and I think 2 use the same font and 1 other uses another font. Which do you think reads better? Which is easiest to read? I mean, I'm happy with Arial or Lucendo Song. Personally, I don't like Times New Roman, but it's a quality. It's a quality. Sorry. It has to be put through Turnitin, and then we mark it through Gradebook.
Oh, you don't have to.
No, none of that anymore. So we'd like to make things easy for you.
Just mentioned there are 3 days of.
Hang on, let me just finish this one and I'll come back. Hang on. Right. Sorry, I thought it was it's now I think the accepted thing is now that you put everything through Turnitin and you mark it through Gradebook. You get your comments and your mark through Gradebook. I am very conscious that some students do not understand how to get their comments, and they're all there, and the way that your work is marked by the criteria, it's all there. So if you don't, then please come and see me or your module tutor or the library or whatever, but make sure you find it, because all that information is there. And we spend hours on it, and go through many bottles of wine using it. Okay? So, do use it. So that's a good question. Any other you're going to say?
You said the 3 ways of presenting a reflective account.
Did I?
Yes, you just mentioned it.
3 ways?
No, she said that. She said there's 3 examples. We're going to check.
Okay.
Isn't it interesting how you say something and people misinterpret?
Oh, sorry.
No, what I'm saying is for the seminar activity, some of you may have downloaded it already. Those of you who are on the ball and looked at UEL Plus last night, right? I've got here copies of previous reflective accounts for you to mark. Good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay? Ça va?
Thank you.
Good. Okay.
Is there 10% legal?
Yes.
There is.
Yes.
And
There always
also,
is.
how many references is a minimum?
How many references? How many references? How to keep it? I would say at least for this reflective account. I would say at least
5.
5. If you want to go over 5, that's fine. I think you can. Yeah, you've got Honey and Mumford. You've got possibly you've got Belbin. You've got who's the guru for evaluation? Hey? Oh, who's the guru for evaluation?
Greg Price.
Great price. Okay, who's the guru for evaluation, folks?
Wilson.
It's always photographed. Who wrote the 4 levels of evaluation?
I'll tell you now. Right here.
Cole?
No.
Come on, somebody. If I
Is it Kilpatrick? Is it Kilpatrick?
say me on my teaching, you say
Handed.
who?
Is it Handed?
Or Handed what?
Kilpatrick?
We spoke about.
Kirkpatrick.
Donald Kirkpatrick.
Okay.
And his name is not Kirkpatrick, but Donald Kirkpatrick.
Yeah,
No, he's
Number of times I've seen Kirkpatrick. So it's Kirkpatrick. Okay, so there's another. So we've got Cole, you could do Cole, Honey and Mumford, Belbin, Kirkpatrick, Wilson. That's 5 already. And you could probably do more. Yeah, don't use bullet points, do you? How can you right? If you want, with the subheading, I don't know. You can do a bullet point for the subheading. You can do a bullet point for the subheading, but no bullet point anywhere else. Any more questions? I did put up. Let me see if I can find it quickly. Yeah, I'll come back to you. Okay, I have put the assessment guide with all the information in UEL Plus. Okay? It's all there. There is a if you fail it, don't fail it. If you're really having problems, come and see me. I don't want to be doing resits in August. I want a holiday. Okay? So if you're really struggling, come and see me. if English isn't your first language, it's always difficult writing in English, but try and make it as grammatically correct as you can. That's the employability skill, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Okay, ça va? Tout le monde? Okay? Okay. All right. That's as far as much I'm going to do about the assessment reflection account for now. Let's have let's have a 10-minute toilet and mobile phone break. Just don't get up before I finish, please. That's funny. Okay. Come back because what I want to look at next is the UK education and training. And again, if anyone's found out the name of that survey from yesterday, we can kick off with that. Okay, so it's now 10 to 9. It's now 5